if you're serious, then bet on yourself. So a sketch is a scripted, short-form, comedic exploration of a concept, character, or situation. I think that's just kind of the generally accepted, understood definition of what a sketch is. So what you need is a strong concept or a strong character or a strong situation. And then to explore it, you have to play a game. Some people use the word game, some people don't like the word game, but basically it's a pattern that you're repeating over and over and you're escalating. So that means the jokes are getting bigger, maybe the pace is getting faster, maybe the stakes are getting higher, or you're twisting and turning. So like you don't want to do one note where you're just doing the same kind of jokes over and over again until you get, and you're kind of blowing it out and pulling out what's most absurd or ridiculous about the situation. And then there are other ways to end it, either a big twist where you take this sharp left and we didn't see that coming, or just the funniest, hardest joke and a blackout. It was a thing of beauty. And some of you guys, if you've seen a Black Lady sketch show, we have a sketch called A Black Lady Courtroom, where it's just like the joy that Black women feel, or any group, any marginalized group, when you walk into a room and you see somebody else in that room who is like you, or if you look around and it's just you guys, like that's how it feels writing on a Black Lady sketch show. There's so many benefits to it. For most of us in that room have been the only woman and or person of color on whatever shows they came from. And so it was nice to be able to get rid of that shorthand, to be able to use shorthand so we don't have to explain the genesis of a joke, because we all kind of share some cultural experiences. So that's been great. There's also a lot of diversity in the room. We're not all African American, half of the room is queer. People come from different socioeconomic backgrounds, and so it's not that we're homogenous, but there is a shorthand there that's really nice. As a member of a marginalized group, we know what it is to be the butt of jokes, and so we're very thoughtful to make sure that we don't do that to others. And I think that same amount of thought I have not seen go into the work, the output that has come out of different other shows that I worked on. My best friend worked at CBS. She was able to connect me with somebody over there who just took an interest. Like, you're new to town. And so I was like, here's some samples. And I kind of like got introduced to the people who were running their sketch comedy showcase. Fortunately, I already had sketches to show. And so when they were looking for writers, I got to submit sketches. I got selected to participate, which is how I met my first manager. Also, some women in that group. One of them taught classes at the Groundlings. I took her class. We ended up forming a sketch group. Somebody in that sketch group, her boyfriend was a PA on Real Time with Bill Maher. He introduced me to a writer. That writer liked me. They kind of kept me on their minds. They gave me some work to do over there. And then by the time Chelsea Handler's Netflix show was getting picked up, she needed researchers. And so the producers at Real Time recommended me for the researcher job on Chelsea. While I was on Chelsea, I was still writing and submitting to late night shows, working on scripts, and basically kind of put myself on Chelsea's radar when she was looking for a new writer. I had a bunch of samples ready to go because at that point I had been in LA for about 3 years. And so I was like, here is everything. I was writing for The Root. So I had articles, I had late night packets, I had sketches, I had spec scripts. And then I got hired by Chelsea. So that's kind of like everything builds on the last thing. And so it all counts. I would encourage everybody to know that it all counts, but also like everything that I just laid out was about networking and following up on connections. I always sound like a lame person when I talk about networking, but it's how it happens, guys. You can network upwards, as they say, but there's also networking laterally, where all of your friends are kind of glowing up at the same time as you. So really, you're just making connections with friends and supporting each other's work. And you always want to make sure you have something to offer. You're not just a taker, So this is what I'm saying: offering to give notes, offering to show up to people. I have a lot of performing friends, actors and stand-ups, and like showing up to their stuff is how you stay in contact. Genuine relationships with people where you really are interested in what they do, I think is a helpful start. But I also think that people understand that this is a business. People know that when you say you want to write, that you are looking for a writing job. And I think it's important to let people know what you want to do. I think you'll find the people who want to help you, you can tell who they are. They're responsive to your emails. they offer to put you in touch. They're kind when you check in. And so, and you want to be helped by the people who want to help you, you know? And so if somebody's being cold or distant, that's probably not a person who's going to help you. And that's okay too. People are, and don't take it personally, people are busy. It's important to remember that one, we're all trying to make the best show that possible, right? So that should be the motivation behind any of the notes or suggestions or pitches that you're giving. And so it shouldn't be motivated by ego or personal agendas. Like, what are we doing to make the best show possible? And then the second thing to remember is like, if you're not the showrunner or the creator, it's not your show. People don't want to work with somebody who's antagonistic and difficult and challenging. And so you pick your battles, what's important to you. Like, whether or not your joke is funnier than somebody else's, all of that is subjective and a matter of taste. It's a different case when you're concerned that like maybe you're putting a harmful message out or you're punching down on somebody. You do want to speak up about that type of stuff, but you don't want to not be able to speak up about that because you've been raising hell about jokes for the last week because nobody wants to hear from you. So yeah, just pick your battles and understand that like it is a job. People want to go home to their families and their friends. Nobody wants to spend a miserable time together. So have fun and be easy.